Little shops along the streets had busy little elves doing their shopping and running errands. In the snowdrifts, elf children played in the snow making snowmen and having snowball fights. Many of them pulled each other along on sleds as they giggled and ran along in merry laughter. There were no worries because the village didn't have any. So except for Mary, no one ever wanted to leave. She cringed thinking about being cut off from the rest of the world. Just about that time, a familiar sound of music floated to her ears on a wave of musical chords. The tinkle of bells chimed from reindeers in the sky overhead, in practice for their flight on Christmas Eve night. Mary looked up as they walked. The sight that caught her eyes was one that she did miss. Her mother gave her a tug to hurry her along. The smell of candy canes freshly being made along with eggnog cookies permeated the air. Everyone was getting ready for the big event. Everyone except for... That's when it hit her like a lump of coal. Why wasn't her father preparing? After all, this was his biggest and busiest time of the year. He was Santa Claus. Mary and her parents stopped walking. Or rather, she had been following, and her parents stopped walking. Mary looked up at the sign on the well-lit building, North Pole Hospital. Was someone sick? She gave her parents a nervous look, but her mother just rushed her inside. Upon entering the building, an elf came up to them. Instead of speaking to all of them, he pulled her father aside, and a moment later her father motioned for them to follow. Down a long hall they walked, lined with doors leading to rooms with empty beds. That is, until they came to the last one. Mary about stumbled over her own feet when she saw the sight lying before her on the hospital bed. There on the bed, unconscious, lay a military pilot. The Air Force, from what she could tell. But why was he here, she thought. Most importantly, how did he get here? Understanding the confused look on Mary's face, her father answered the unspoken question. Jack found him and brought him here. Jack found him? What do you mean Jack found him? Do you mean Frost? When did Frost care to help anyone? Mary was sure that his heart was about as cold as the snow and ice that he wielded. I know what you're thinking, Mary. Frost isn't all bad. You would have to understand his past. Mary seemed to remember her father saying those very same words a few times before about Jack Frost. She knew not to ask. She would get the very same answer. It's not for me to say, Mary. Only Frost can tell his own story. No one else. Getting back to the issue at hand, she took a closer look at the unconscious guest. Blonde hair, medium build, tall stature judging from his length. For some reason she couldn't help but wonder what color his eyes were. The man was simply breathtaking. So did Frost say why he brought him here? It wasn't like he couldn't have just dropped him off at the nearest hospital. Her father started to shift nervously from one foot to the other. She knew when he was trying to avoid answering a question, and this just so happened to be one of those times. Tell her I don't think it's much of a secret anymore, said her mother. But it's not my place to say. Only Frost can tell his story. Mary was really starting to get tired of this song and dance routine. If she had to be brought here against her will, then she was going to get some answers. Tell me what, Mom? If her father wasn't willing to give her the answers she wanted, then she would look towards her mother. Chris! Yelled her mother. Her father walked over to a drawer located in a small table next to the bed. Opening it up, he retrieved a name tag, and this name tag bore the name of John A. Frost. Frost? Why did this man share the same last name as Jack? Getting a closer glance at the patient, her eyes suddenly got wide as saucers. Why hadn't she noticed it before? No matter, she was noticing it now. The man in the bed was a much younger version of Jack. Her head jerked up, and she looked at her parents. Jack has a son?